This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And tonight from Busch Stadium, the I-70 series continues. Game number 2, the Kansas City Royals and the St. Louis Cardinals. Welcome to the broadcast booth here at Busch Stadium. That's the Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds. I'm Dan McLaughlin. Delighted to have you with us here for game number 2. Youth has been served for St. Louis. The young players stepping up in a big way.
They certainly have, and if you're going to win in this league, you're going to need a bench and you're going to need some help from AAA. And right now, that's what they're getting, and they're going to need it for a little bit while longer with the injuries that they have.
So the young players, whether it be in the lineup or in the rotation, Alex Ray is coming. Luke Weaver is tonight. Arcia in the driver's seat. The last 2 starts for Luke Weaver, they've been very good. He's
been great. I mean, this kid goes out there and pitches his game, can be dominant at times. You can see over the last 12 innings, just 8 hits and 1 run. Tonight, I'm looking forward to seeing him dominate the strike zone, use that fastball to elevate and get some outs, some quick outs.
Weaver against Jason Hamill, and Tyler O'Neill will play center field tonight. Can he make it 4 games in a row with a homer? We're about to find out. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. It's the I-70 Series. The St. Louis Cardinals, the Kansas City Royals. Always fun when these two get together. Game number 2 tonight. First pitch, starting lineups comes your way next. Here in the Gateway City, will be at the K later this season as the Interleague Series will shift to Kansas City and Kauffman Stadium. Luke Weaver allowed 1 run over 7 innings against the Phillies in his last start. A 6-2 loss. When he left the game, it was 1-0. Pitched very well in game 1 against the Phillies and now gets game number 2 tonight against the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah, I really want to see him pound the zone. I like when he's got that little runner working down in the zone. He's got that little zoom ball, we call it, I guess, up in the zone. And we talked about it in the open, the youngsters that are coming up out of AAA. It's so exciting, I think, for me, because I used to love when I played the young players coming up and getting their shot, as long as they weren't taking my place. Right. But I do. I love it. It's what this game's all about and keeps the tradition of the game going. So I'm excited every time they go out there.
Ned Yost and his lineup tonight. John Jay, the former Cardinal, Ryan Goins, and Mike Moustakas, Salvador Perez, Whit Merrifield, Alex Gordon, Abraham Almonte, Alcides Escobar, and the pitcher batting ninth, and that's Jason Hamill. Turn to Jim Edmonds, Toyota, keys to the game.
Well, let's see. I came up with a few, but I'm going to go with these 2. I'm going to get Luke Weaver just throw some strikes. The times that he's struggled, his fastball has been a little erratic, and then he's had to come and throw the ball right down the middle, and anyone's going to hit that. And then the offense just really keep rolling, keep the runs coming, swing the bat, try to use a little bit of that momentum that's been going, and especially Matt Carpenter trying to keep it hot.
So Weaver is set, so is John Jay, and so are we. The first pitch of game number 2 from Weaver. It's a strike. John Jay swinging a very hot bat in the month of May. 19 games, a .359 average, and he scored 10 runs. And a base hit into left field. Right before that pitch, not to say that he would get this ball, but I was going to say Marcell Ozuna should move in a step or two and left. If you ever watched John Jay, you know how well he is adept at going the other way.
I mean, he's not going to drive the ball very deep into left field, but I'll tell you what, as soon as he hit this ball, I was just like, there goes another hit. Just another hit for John Jay. Drive the ball the other way, get on base. Just such a competitor, and like I said last night, what a great teammate. I mean, he just keeps doing it. Not fancy, and I think that turns teams off, but a leader and a player, and I like that more than anything.
Ryan Goins drops down a beautiful bunt. Carpenter, tough play, safe at first, and the first two have reached.
I thought he was out, didn't you?
Couldn't tell. I think he's out.
Well, now you can tell.
And the Cardinals will challenge. This shouldn't take very long. That's a very good play, by the way, by Matt Carpenter.
It might take them longer for Joe West to get over there than the replay itself.
Are you taking a shot at Joe West?
No, I love Joe West.
Do you really?
He only threw me out a couple times.
Are you serious? You like him?
No, I do. He's an interesting cat. I was noticing while we're here for a second that this might be the only umpiring crew that I know, all four guys. Seems like they've really thrown a bunch of new umpires in the league.
Boy, that wasn't an easy play at all. And Carpenter had a little something on that throw, and that's good to see.
It's a great bunt and a good play by Carp, and I don't think this is a tough play on the umpire. I mean, I don't know if you can get it any closer.
From what we've seen out of Carpenter's arm, whether it be turning a double play or at third, kind of babies the throws, but yet when he needs to get something on it, Mike Matheny has talked about it, it's there. And so the call is overturned. Cardinals defensively around the horn is presented by Dobbs. Marcell Ozuna, Tyler O'Neill, and Dexter Fowler in the outfield. Carpenter, Munoz, Wong, and Martinez along the infield. Francisco Pena, he's behind the plate. Here's Mike Moustakas. He's hitting .322 against right-handed pitching this year. And all the issues the Royals have had coming into play, not a very good record. What they've done with runners in scoring position has been respectable. It's something to keep in mind. John Jay is at second base. Moustakas, the team leader for Kansas City in home runs with 10. Team leader. Runs batted in with 31. An anemic offense for the Royals here recently, and their starting pitching hasn't been much better, and usually that's a bad combo. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Pulled foul. The Hyundai pitch arsenal for Luke Weaver. Fastball, changeup, the curve, and mixes in a cutter, slider, whatever you want to call it.
The fastball can be anywhere in the low 90s to 96 when he's trying to put you away, and he does it. I think he throws that cutter maybe a little bit more. I think it kind of gets a little cut off with a four-seamer. I think that there's a fine line between, if you see a ball that runs a lot and then a ball that stays straight, sometimes it's the cutter and sometimes it's a four-seamer.
Jim Hayes is working across the street in Ballpark Village, and Jeremiah Johnson filling in for Jim as our field reporter, and he's going to talk about, in a couple of innings, one of the great shots we had of the '68 weekend. Weaver talking to Bob Gibson about a slider. The 2-2 jammed him, popped up. Carpenter giving chase near the Royals dugout with room, makes the catch.
That pitch right here, this is This ball stays in there, stays straight, and the ball was about 96. But you got to. That's the thing with these right-handers that throw the ball that runs or the sinker. When you throw the ball inside to a lefty, you got to keep it in there. It cannot tail back over the plate. And that's a challenge if you don't. And that's where the cutter comes from, trying to keep the ball in there instead of the ball running back. So you got to come up with a cutter or a four-seamer to keep it on the same plane.
2 outs, runner at second. Salvador Perez made the final out in the game last night. Miles Michaelis, the complete game shutout in only his 9th start as a Cardinal. He's now 4th in the league in ERA, dropped to 2.24. His teammate number 1, Carlos Martinez, 1.62. And the 0-1. Michaelis is also second in wins, just one back of Max Scherzer.
It was impressive last night. I would go with, this is maybe over comparison, but like a Greg Maddux type of game where he threw everything he had. He moved the ball around, threw strikes with a lot more velocity than Greg, but that style of game, just crisscrossing each side, throwing the ball in, throwing the ball out, cutting the ball away, the big slow breaking ball, change up, fastball up. It was like he had every weapon to throw and threw it and didn't really hesitate ever.
And his pace.
Quickly.
You got to love, as a defensive player, being behind Miles Michaelis. Gets the ball, gets on the mound, gets a sign, and goes. And there is something to that rhythm that he was in. Certainly for any player that's playing behind him.
It is such a good thing when you're playing defense, especially. Just keep you on your toes and keep you in the game.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Outside, 2-2.
I think that's just a lot of confidence. You know, it's got no reason not to be confident right now, but that came from somewhere at some point. I mean, if you're going to take 10 seconds to throw a pitch and you're going to do it the same thing in 2 seconds, why not make it a little quicker?
And the 2-2 by Weaver. Michaelis was pitching ahead in the count too. He had 25 of 31 first pitch strikes. But what a night it was. He's now 6-0 on the year, and again one back of Scherzer for the National League lead in wins. Now the 2-2 pitch. Weaver to Perez, and time is called late.
And that's kind of what I'm talking about right there. I think that Miles would just wind up and throw that ball. And if you looked at that video, it's interesting to see. He's got, first of all, he's got a little pause right at the end that might throw the hitters off, and he steps across his body a little bit. You can see a couple of the righties even in the video, but yesterday I noticed it. Front shoulder was starting to fly a little bit, and it's like he's stepping at you, and then he paints away.
The 2-2. Perez rips it out to left. Ozuna is there and makes the catch. That ball was tattooed, but right at the Cardinals left fielder. No damage done, and the Cardinals coming up in the home half of the first. lineup. He's allowed 3 runs in the first inning in each of his last 3 starts. So maybe get to him early if that pattern continues. Lost to the Rays in his last start. 5 runs over 6 innings. Matched a season high with 10 hits allowed. This will be the lineup that he'll face. Dexter Fowler at the top. And then Matt Carpenter and Jose Martinez. Marcell Ozuna, Tyler O'Neill, Colton Wong, Jairo Munoz, Francisco Pena, and Luke Weaver. The season numbers for the former Cub. He's pitched on a number of teams and has found a home in Kansas City. And Fowler on the first pitch. A fly ball into center to Abraham Almonte.
Pretty interesting stat if you think about it. Giving up 3 runs in the first inning of what, 3 games in a row, you said?
Yeah.
I mean, that's, I don't know if you could try and do that.
Hyundai pitch arsenal. His slider used to be a very good pitch. Not to say that it isn't anymore, but the success this year has not been going in his favor. Teams hitting .313 against that slider.
Not really overpowering, moving the ball around. Thought he threw the changeup a little bit more often, but see right there the first pitch that was only 90 miles an hour. So it'll be interesting to see how he moves the ball around. And guys, like I said, you know, we talk about the velocity. When the velocity is down, I think the guys that are coming out of the dugout are licking their chops. So you're going to have to really work the ball around the zone.
Matt Carpenter is just 3 for 27 against Hamill. Would throw that out the window. One of the hottest batters right now in baseball. Old Dominion bringing his best. Last 6 games hitting above 500 and extra bases. 7 doubles along the way. The 0-2 pitch. Taken high. 13 hits his last 24 plate appearances. So the batting average on the rise. It's gone from 140 to tonight at 210. It's the highest it's been since April 7th. The 1-2 pitch. How did that not hit him? That did everything but hit him.
Spiked. See a little kickback when it hit the ground.
Two and 2. The outfield is straight away. Shift on the infield. And the next to Carpenter. Struck him out. 12th time that Carpenter is struck out against Hamill. Now 3 for 28. The Royals defense with a Gold Glover in left in Alex Gordon. Almonte in center. John Jay. 2 outfield assists. He's in right. Around the horn presented by Dobbs. Moustakas, Escobar, Goins, Merrifield along the infield. Salvador Perez, 4-time Gold Glover, and he's behind the plate. First pitch swinging, fouled back by Jose Martinez.
It's another one of those guys when you watch Hamill pitch. He's got a little tiny hitch at the end, and his 92 gets by guys, and it's weird when you see that. So I immediately think that he's either tough to pick up or the ball kind of jumps out of his hand. It doesn't matter if you throw 88 or 98. If you have that a little jump out of your hand, it's a little deception and makes the hitters late.
And a base hit, not late on that swing.
Nope. Made the correction after the first swing.
A 2-out single for Jose Martinez. Missouri Lottery Fox tracks, and it brings in Marcell Ozuna.
The big leg kick, get the leg down in plenty of time, and like I said, use that first swing. That's where you see the deception. I think when you see a fastball and you swing at it the first time and it's by you, you think, oh man, I got to speed up a little bit. Can't really try to do more. You just have to do a little quicker.
Ozuna snapped an 0 for 22. Pair of singles, drove in a run. 2 runs scored last night. Fans still filing in. Beautiful night for baseball here in the Gateway City. The 1-0. Ozuna, little flare out to shallow right center. That ball will drop. Martinez with 2 outs. Running hard anyway, and runners at the corners for St. Louis.
Gotta love this. You gotta take him however you can get him, and it's a little breaking ball off the end of the bat. Sometimes you need those to keep going. You know, it's funny. I watched Ozuna run around first base. He's got so much energy. He's supposed to be a great guy in the clubhouse. He was just like one of those guys you want to see get hot. It could be infectious for the whole team.
This guy hot right now, Tyler O'Neill. And the first pitch. He's taken for a ball. If you combine his numbers in Memphis to now, and here we are in the middle of May, he's already hit 16 home runs. He's homered in 3 straight.
4 straight would be really nice.
The 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. He came up initially, did not have a hit, did have an RBI, and down his second time up, 7 for 12, driven in 6, 3 home runs. The 1-1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Kubota power stats. That was Saturday, first ever home run, tied the game up at 6. Then with a 1 swing, or rather just the
one arm, 1 hand.
And then O'Neill, the high towering drive into right. The Cardinals by design, and it works. They tried to get into a rundown, I believe, and with that, Martinez scores the first run of the game. By design?
It caught me off guard too, so I'm not really sure, but the way Ozuna took off, it kind of did look like, well, you see now Jose Oquendo is telling him he'd rather see him run all the way through. You watch this big guy right here slide into home. You're the manager. You're cringing right here. It's a tough slide for a big guy.
The 2-2. It's one thing the Royals have done fairly well, despite the fact they're not playing great baseball in the win column. They haven't played sloppy baseball. They're just getting beat. But that's how you beat yourself.
Yeah, I just think that they're very inexperienced as far as a team game, and they're doing a lot of teaching over there right now, and I think they're kind of talking rebuild, and that's not a good feeling when you're in the middle of a rebuild.
So the strikeout of Tyler O'Neill, 2 in the inning, but the Cardinals pick up a run and a beautiful night here in St. Louis.
Busch Stadium. I enjoyed watching the Fox Sports Midwest coverage over the last week, specifically this weekend. The 1968 team was here, and I really appreciated seeing the current Cardinals embrace rubbing shoulders with the legends. That included this shot that was on Saturday's show with Bob Gibson teaching his slider grip to tonight's pitcher, Luke Weaver. And I asked Luke about that, if that's something maybe he could add to his repertoire at some point. He said it's something in the back pocket. You know, playing catch on days you're not pitching, you try it out. When you're on the mound, you do what you do best, but definitely in the off season, he said it was really cool that Bob Gibson took time to show me that grip, a pitch that's pretty stinking good. I'd say that's pretty stinking cool that Bob Gibson and Luke Weaver could have that moment on Saturday, and you captured it on the broadcast.
Yeah, it was really neat to have Bob here in the booth. Like always, when he is in town, have a chance to visit with him. Jim Hayes may be Wally pipped. Jim is working in the studio tonight. Jeremiah has worked a number of years with the Indiana Pacers and helping us out here next week or so. Whit Merrifield is at the plate, and the 1-2 pitch. Little tapper back to Weaver, goes down on a knee, hops up and makes the play. It is ruled a double steal, by the way, and so the first Cardinal to steal home since Pete Cosma, and it's Jose Martinez. What do you think? Design play though, or what?
Since Bremer.
Well, let's talk about this.
I don't know, because I think that Ozuna thought he was doing the right thing, but when I check out Oquendo at the end, I see him telling him he's supposed to go all the way through and draw the throw.
Out to center, O'Neill back at the wall, and it's gone. Alex Gordon with a home run, his 4th of the year. Just about over the 400-foot sign in center.
Tell you what, this ball was shot out of a cannon. It's not that home run we saw last night to right center off of O'Neill's bat, but the ball jumped out of here in a hurry. It's amazing to watch these guys hit some days. Even going down there for batting practice, just a different noise that the ball comes off the bat with certain players is just incredible to listen to.
Alex Gordon, like many lefties, loves the ball low. He pulls the ball a ton, looking at his hot zones, but he also hits the ball incredibly hard when you go middle low, in low. And again, that kind of sums up a lefty, doesn't it?
All of them but me.
You love the ball up?
I don't know why. I never swung at the ball down, always because the zone was never down when I played. So a lot of guys in my day threw sinkers, and so when the ball started off down, it was just down. And then, of course, if you're not in perfect position to hit it, you're going to beat it into the ground.
And a strike to Almonte. Alex Gordon, terrific left fielder, one of the best defensive left fielders in the game. And a strikeout for Weaver, his first of the night. Folks forget he was a #2 overall pick. Get a look at the strikeout of Almonte, and Gordon was a third baseman and struggled mightily defensively, and then moved to left field and becomes a Gold Glover.
It's a heck of a player.
Yep. Alcides Escobar hitting just 183 this year against right-handed pitching. No extra base hits here in the month of May. Very tough to strike out. That has been a staple of his career. And lines it into right field for a base hit. Two hits in the inning, extends it to Jason Hamill. Well, the Cardinals come in to play tonight 6 games above the 500 mark here at Busch Stadium. In their last 18 games at home, the starters' ERA is just above 2. This day and age, that's incredible.
Really been doing a good job. I mean, it seems like if you're not watching nightly and you turn on the replay or something, it's just all about the pitching. Pitching has been doing a good job, and you know what? That's what it's all about. Keep you in the game, even when the offense can't go every night. It's just you're going to run into other good pitchers. So keep the other team down, and you got a chance to win.
And when you pitch like the Cardinals are pitching, a chance to stay in every game. The GMC leaderboard, lowest starting staff ERA in all of baseball. It's Houston and then St. Louis. And a swing and a miss. 2 strikeouts in this inning, 2 overall. But Alex Gordon, home run 417 feet away. Equipment. Pick your power, fuel, or battery with Steel. Search STIHL. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Can't catch a game on television? You can stream games live on your mobile device. Download the Fox Sports Go app. Log in. Stream the Cardinals. It's presented by T-Mobile. The banks of the Mississippi. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. 1-1 our score. The home half of the second. And here is Colton Wong. Happy 47th wedding anniversary to Jim and Joe Poole. Jim has been an employee of the Cardinals for a number of years. 2-0 the count. A shift here for Colton Wong. Room on the left side of the infield. Hits it in the air into shallow right center. This will be John Jay with the catch. It's been a struggle for Jason Hamill. Hasn't won a game since September 6th of last year. And he's got a high ERA on the road. Lance Lynn pitching at home tonight. His ERA above 8. Hamill 7.62. Twins also designating for assignment Phil Hughes. Here's Jairo Munoz. Munoz, a base hit into right.
Thank you very much for that half shift. not really sure right here why they would be shifting the young player like this and a guy pitching like this who's going to keep the ball away from you a lot, breaking balls away. If you're a good hitter, you just try to stay up the middle and go the other way, and basically just gave him that wide open.
Here's Francisco Pena. Mentioned that Hamill has not won since last September. It's been an ugly stretch for him. It was at Detroit. Since then, 0-8 in 13 starts and a 7.28 ERA.
And you would think that the losses were coming with the record, but when you look at the ERA, it was kind of unusual. You would not think that that ERA would belong to Jason Hamill.
And Pena breaks his bat, sinking liner into shallow center and a base hit. Munoz diving back into the bag at second. And the Cardinals have back-to-back hits and their 4th of the night.
This is what happens though when things are going wrong. You get these kind of hits from the other team, and just a good pitch, jam shot, and finds a hole. And like I said, you got to take these when you're a hitter, because there's a lot of times you line out, you get nothing to show for it, hitting the ball right on the nose.
See how the Cardinals want to play it. Luke Weaver's talked about in the past he's had the ability coming through the ranks of high school and college and in the minor leagues to swing the bat, and if that's the case, you could be creative here. Show bunt, swing, or get a bunt down, put 2 men in scoring position for Dexter Fowler. The bunt is down. Perez only plays to first. Boy, perfectly done there by Weaver.
That's a great bunt. And I was going to say, if you want to take a chance right there, you might take the first pitch to swing, and then you go to bunting, because you're expecting him to throw the ball down the middle to the pitcher, thinking he's going to bunt. So just depends on how you feel about it. But the right play is here, and Luke Weaver does a nice job deadening that ball perfectly in the dirt. And the only thing that for me right here is you could pick your poison right here, right? You have an open base, so now as a pitcher you have a little bit of an advantage, because the hardest thing to do as a hitter is try to figure out if they are pitching to you or not. So he's got an open base. If he doesn't get ahead, then you're playing that guessing game as a hitter. Sometimes that's tough, so you leave an open base, but I think the advantage for the open base is the pitchers.
Wouldn't you think, though, he's going to go right at Fowler with a red-hot Carpenter on deck?
What I think is he was going to do whatever happens in the first 2 pitches, and that's what I'm saying. I think he has the advantage because only he knows that. Now he can throw breaking balls and changeups up there instead of having to challenge or throw fastballs out over the plate. Go to his strengths instead of having to worry about what he's going to do. Then if he gets behind, you just still flip stuff up there to Dexter's weakness, and if they're not strikes, they're not strikes. Got another base.
Here's a 1-1 pitch to Fowler. He did go 1-2. Tommy Pham not in the lineup tonight. Last couple of games struggled a bit at the plate, so gets a breather, and I'm sure we'll see Tommy back in there tomorrow and probably later tonight.
Pretty good chance you might see him tonight. He's one of those guys I'm sure you have to take a day off. He goes
Absolutely.
so hard.
Yep. And the 1-2 pitch to Fowler. 2-2.
That is all show right there.
To further your point, with Carpenter against Hamill, I mean, he has owned that matchup, Jason Hamill. There's a comfort level there too, potentially.
I think you're right, and that just plays into this even more.
Yep.
But you know, he's been around long enough to know what he's doing and know how he wants to attack each hitter. So instead of having to be a little bit more careful, he can be more aggressive and just miss off the plate and just miss down with the breaking ball, throw the fastball up above the zone. And like I said, the best thing you can do as a pitcher is if you walk him, you don't have it's no big deal. Changes your whole game plan.
3-2 on Fowler. Very good play by Perez. truly is one of the great defensive catchers in the game. Yadier Molina, certainly for the Cardinals. Yadi's been very helpful to Perez over the years in his career.
He's a big kid. I was watching him take batting practice today. Ball jumps off his bat. He was hitting balls over the bullpen, into their bullpen and over it.
3-2 and a strikeout of Fowler.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about right there. Does not have to give in and can throw any pitch at any time.
Cardinals strand a pair, and it's 1-1. Against Kansas City, the record 5-0. 43 runs scored, 11 homers and 24 walks to go along those 5 wins. They've outscored Kansas City 43-17 in those 5 games. Brian Jordan back at the ballpark tonight for a Budweiser Bash. Good to see him back. Still looks like he should be playing in the NFL.
Could be. Maybe not should be. It could be. I'm sure he probably wouldn't take you up on that anymore. The size of those guys that are playing.
Amazing.
Gosh.
Here's John Jay. He told me that George Kissel would show up at the spring training complex around 5:15, run him through a battery of drills. So essentially go through his own personalized spring training. And there's a ground ball hit to second. They'd finish up around 8, 9 o'clock. He'd get all his work done and then start working out for football once that was over. In spring training, he was doing that. Day would end around 5 or 6. Do it all over again.
Imagine the dedication that takes. Think about, even for you, at the end of the season, you go home and you shut down, right? And you disappear to your farm, wherever you go.
Yeah.
Where does he go? Put on some football pads and get after it.
He and Deion Sanders, 2 sports stars. Deion, a Pro Football Hall of Famer, and Brian Jordan was All-Pro at his position, strong safety. Think about the great Bo Jackson. There's a fly ball to left off the bat of Goins.
Speaking of Bo Jackson, I was talking to Rex Hudler today, and he asked me if I remembered when they were fixing Anaheim Stadium. They tore down the outfield, and Rex and I were standing out in the outfield with Bo Jackson, and the guy was standing on the very top of the roof. Think about this now at our stadium. Look up there, the very top of the roof, and they were tearing it down and redoing it and opening up. Bo Jackson flat-footed threw him a baseball, and it landed right in the guy's arms. And the next day we went out to stretch, and it said Bo knows iron. And Hud reminded me of that today, and I was like, I remember that. I was standing right next to him.
Munoz runs out of room.
So the guy was literally working up there on the roof, right? So they were taking down center field. So from there all the way around to right field and opening up the stadium. And he was standing in the outfield. This guy was chirping at him. And he just looked up flat-footed and threw a baseball up there.
That's unbelievable.
I've never seen anything like it. And until he said something, I forgot all about it.
Out to right off the bat of Moustakas. A 6-pitch inning for Luke Weaver. Midway through 3. Carpenter coming up. The Royals and Cardinals, and we're tied 1-1. In the first, second, and third. Friday night, 30,000 fans 16 and older receive a stainless steel tumbler featuring Yadier Molina, and that'll be courtesy of Apple Vacations. Will you get a gold or a silver Yachty tumbler? You'll find out on June 1st. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. Carpenter struck out first time up, came in batting .380 against the Kansas City Royals in his career with a .471 on base percentage. In terms of raw athletes that you competed against, Bo Jackson, where does he rank on that list?
I caught him at the end and I competed with, but I don't, it would be interesting. I mean, I didn't, you know what, the weird thing for me is when I came up in the big leagues, it was the American League, National League.
The fly ball out to deep left center. That'll stay in the ballpark and caught for the first out.
And we didn't cross over at all until, I don't know, what, 96 or 7 maybe interleague started. And I felt like that was, Bo was gone, Dion was still around, but you know, his football ability was a little bit better than his baseball ability. He was the fastest guy I'd ever seen.
But Darren Erstad.
Erstad was a good athlete. There's a lot of good athletes, but you don't necessarily see that on the baseball field. I mean, I talk about an athlete like a guy who plays everything, can do everything. Like I remember, you know, growing up, and when you were the kid that nobody wanted to play in ping pong or basketball or anything because you beat him all the time. That's how my dad was, and that's where I get it from. But you can't really tell on the baseball field because you don't get to see as much of the athletic moves as you do in other sports.
Sure. I brought up Erstad. He was a great college football player.
Yeah, he was a punter, and he kicked field goals from time to time. I think he's now actually the head coach
at Nebraska.
Yeah. He was the grittiest, one of the grittiest players I've ever seen, played with. I mean, he just would will himself into, he was like a Hulk Hogan's version of David Erstad, of Eckstein, I'm sorry, David Erstad. He just willed his way, and then he had the body to like overpower things.
The 2-out hit for Ozuna. He's 2 for 2.
I felt like I played in that early 90 era where you had to play both ways. As you take a look at this base hit by Ozuna, and once again going back up the middle, staying close, staying through the ball. But I mean, played with guys that everyone, you know, the guy that used to blow me away the most, that I just, and you're going to be shocked when I say this, Robbie Alomar did everything on the baseball field. Everything. He could hit for power. He was the best base runner I've ever seen, and was probably the best defensive second baseman I ever watched play in my era. And then you talk about Larry Walker, what all the things that he could do. But you would never have seen him walking down the street. That wouldn't be your, hey, that's the best athlete in the world.
O'Neill, a base hit into right. 1 for 2. Runners at the corners for St. Louis with 2 outs. A little rally here in the home half of the third.
And I'm not really sure, and maybe, and I'm just going to reach for this, and you see it right here, and this is why I'm going to say it. I think Jason Hamill has this little hitch and little pause where he throws the ball by people too, and you're giving the right-handers the entire right side of the infield wide open. And what does he do? A lot of times we've seen off the end of the bat, broken bat, jam shots, guys having to force the ball into right field. You're giving them base hits, and maybe that's why his ERA is at 7, and he hasn't won in forever. I mean, that, for what I'm watching right now, that's not in his favor. And I hate to say that, I'm not second guessing what Kansas City's doing, but from all my experience, if I'm watching that, I'm saying, wait a second, we're doing something wrong here. We're giving away hits. And the shift used to drive me crazy anyways.
I get it. The starters of Kansas City struggling, and a 1-0 pitch to Wong. And it's 2-0. Munoz at the on-deck circle. Well, you've had Munoz where the second baseman normally positioned. Base hit into right. Pena, broken bat hit. Soft liner, Ozuna. The hit to right by O'Neill, another spot where the second baseman would be at. Wong a chance to bust out. He's 2 for his last 35.
And I even think in Ozuna's ball is a bouncer up the middle that's soft, that there's shortstop's not even close.
The 2-0. 3-0. This might be one of those cases where even though Wong is struggling, left-handed batter, and Hamill's saying, well, I've got second base open and I'll deal with the rookie. Maybe.
It's always there. Every personality is different on the mound. He knows that second base is open. He knows he doesn't have to give in.
3-1.
But then at the same time, he just might not be on tonight, not throwing the ball where he wants to throw it. Because usually you wouldn't see him come up with 3-0 right down the middle.
And Wong pops it up on the infield. Moustakas has it. Cardinals strand a pair going to break. One of the great highlights. You talk about an athlete. Watch this. Bo Jackson. Climb the wall. Why not? Oh, my goodness. St. Louis, less than 100 days. Tickets remain for Monday's opening day through Thursday's opening round. They're going fast. PGAchampionship.com at Belle Reeve. Jeremiah Johnson is with us tonight and working as our sideline reporter, and we check in. Jeremiah.
Hey guys, great job by the Cardinals starting pitching the last couple of nights. Jack Flaherty, Miles Michaelis, you guys have talked about his performance, but you have to reference the job by catcher Francisco Pena, because the catchers, they deserve some credit when the starters succeed. Mike Maddox had a conversation with Mike Maddox, pitching coach, before the game. He told me that catchers are part of the pitching staff. They're the ones that throw the complete game and are back there. Maddox says that he credits P, he calls Pena P, for changing his approach throughout the course of a game. He said there's more than one way to skin a cat. Back there are 4 at-bats in any given game from a batter, and you attack them 4 different ways. And I think that with Yadier Molina, obviously so much of an emphasis on what he has done over his time and how the Cardinals pitchers and really their entire game struggles at times when Molina has been injured, but you have to give a lot of credit to Pena and the job he has done in his place.
No doubt, and he catches that 3rd strike and the 3rd strikeout now for Luke Weaver. We were talking about that last night, in a rhythm with both Flaherty and Michaelis last night. And it looks like on the same page with Luke Weaver.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll see a stat like with Yachty, without Yachty, and you look at that ERA, but a lot of those times when you see that, it's like a 5 or 6 game sample, right? I mean, you can't get comfortable in 5 games if you haven't played all year. Especially, that's one time through the order with the pitching staff.
Right.
So the 2nd time, maybe the 3rd time, that makes all the difference in the world. He starts getting comfortable, starts knowing the hitters and knowing his pitchers and what they're capable of doing. It's only going to get better from there.
Here's Whit Merrifield.
Not to mention just actually catching game speed stuff. I mean, you get to catch a bullpen, but as much as they try to replicate catching the ball and the game speed, it's not the same. It's never the same, and it's hard to do.
1-1 to count. Merrifield, by the way, led the American League last year with a total of 34 stolen bases. You think about how this game has changed. 34 steals in the American League. Led it.
What did we say that Vince Coleman had how many 100 steal seasons? It was 3 or 4.
He averaged in his time in St. Louis 91 stolen bases a year. Whit Merrifield, get to know him out of Florence, South Carolina. And a very versatile player. The stretch that Vince was in St. Louis, it's never been matched before or after the 91 stolen bases, the average. And he's headed to the Cardinals Hall of Fame. And the 3-1 pitch. One out walk. It's about the journey, not the destination. You can download Beat the Streak in the App Store, MLB.com/BTS. Alex Gordon with a home run. First time up. Wonder if the big leagues, or at least high minor league levels, first time that Luke Weaver's had a chance to at least shake off a catcher. You have to remember, a lot of the catchers, not a lot, maybe all of them, in college, they look into the dugout and it's their coach that calls the game. That's how it's done at the college level. And Weaver was very successful at Florida State. The catchers do not call the games, which is something they have to learn when they get into pro baseball. Now, there's some fans that'll say, well, I see the catcher looking into the dugout. That's about the running game, which is controlled by the manager, but not pitch selection.
Correct. That'll be correct. But it is interesting to think about that. You get to the you can get to the minor leagues without really having a game plan of what you want to do. I was just watching one of the high school games the other day and was sitting at the end of the dugout or by the dugout while the coach was calling the pitches, and I was kind of thinking along with it because, you know, just like, it's still baseball, right?
Well,
kids are so different. You can't set them up, but they don't really know what they're doing yet. So
I don't like it. I mean, if you're a college catcher and you're good enough to play pro ball and make a living out of it, you're gonna have to start calling pitches.
Exactly. Well,
and some get drafted in high draft choices. There's a catcher that might go in the top 5 this year, and he probably has never called his own game.
What's really funny you say that, if you even think about it too, like even for me, I called my own game in high school. It was a million years ago, but still, but halfway through the season or even a couple starts in, the catcher starts to understand what you do, and that's at least thinking.
Well, that's
right?
That's what I'm leading to, the rhythm of a catcher and a pitcher, and that relationship together and trying to get on the same page.
I thought it was interesting, if you watch TV, and I follow the John Gruden show with the quarterbacks, and one of the quarterbacks a few years back got drafted high, top couple picks, and he had never called a play in college.
The base hit into right, and Merrifield, I'm surprised he is still at second base with his speed. The base hit to right.
Not wanting to run on Dexter. The ball's hit a little bit hard, but
it was a third changeup in a row.
Chance to go. Oh, he froze right there.
Yep.
The ball hit right in front of his face.
Here's Almonte, who struck out looking back in the second inning. Cardinals would love that ground ball, a double play. The Royals have grounded into 51 double plays. That's most in baseball. The Cardinals pitching has induced 40, tied for the most. And there's some of the numbers that you don't like to see if you're a Cardinal fan with Luke Weaver. He does the right thing there. If he's not going to throw back, shortstop out of position, just step off.
Yeah, I think he caught him off guard, and that's great reactions right there to be able to step off. And that's something it's not easy to do because you're kind of locked in. You're not expecting a shortstop to break. That can throw you off.
Here's the 0-1. Lined and caught by Colton Wong. Takes a hit away. And that might have saved a run.
Good job timing this. And it was funny, I was watching him see what he was going to do, and right as he catches the ball, he's already looking at second base to see if he can double him up before he even comes down. He's got good field awareness on defense. Really can move. He's just got to get his swing back to the way it was at the end of the year last year.
Such a rhythm player.
Streaky.
Yep. So 2 outs and 2 on. Alcides Escobar. Cardinals really keeping Merrifield close at second base. Not that he would steal in this spot with 2 outs, but he has 6 stolen bases at third base. 6 for 6. Right-handed batter up. Obviously a tougher throw for a catcher. And the 0-1 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Weaver has struck out 3 tonight. He has averaged 9.94 per 10. Only Rick Ankiel, this stage, young man's career has been better. Rick working on our pre and post game shows this week, and he'll be in the booth with us tomorrow for a couple of innings. We'll have a 3-man booth.
Sweet. I don't think that I've seen anyone better as a young player on the mound than Rick Ankiel. I thought that was what I was watching was going to be special. He was electric.
Told the story about Carlos Hernandez last week. Carlos was in the Dodgers system, and Sandy Koufax was teaching young pitchers in the Dodgers system curveballs, and Carlos said it was the best curveball he had ever seen, even at whatever age Sandy was, until he caught Rick Ankiel.
I actually played first base in a couple of those games and got the pleasure of talking to a couple of the hitters that were lucky enough to get on base, and they were shaking their head like, wow. Phil Nevin was a good friend of mine, and he walked one time and he was shaking his head like, that's ridiculous. Never seen anything like it.
Well, the pitcher on deck, so certainly Weaver doesn't have to give in here if he doesn't choose to. 3-2 with 2 outs, and the runner's off with this next pitch as we play here in the top of the 4th. There they go, and it's hit out to left. Ozuna over, won't get it. 1 run is in. As the ball gets away, it'll be a double for Escobar. They pitch to the 8th place hitter, and they get burned to make it a 2-1 Kansas City lead.
I couldn't get it out of my mouth fast enough. What I was going to say is I don't like Escobar there because he's a guy with power. Can drive the ball out of the ballpark even though he's only got one home run, I think. And then he is a good slap hitter into right field and can put the ball in play. That is a tough situation for a pitcher right there to try to pitch to him with the pitcher on deck. He's one of those guys that literally can hit anything if he wants to. You know, it's like you see a guy struggling, but yet he's the one you don't want to face in those situations because of his type of swing.
He has struck out only 11% of the time, to further your point. So he's going to put the ball in play. Hamill just a bit tardy on that swing.
Heads up down there.
League average in terms of strikeouts for individuals 22.5% of the time, so cut it in half for Escobar.
I mean, like I said, there's just certain guys, it doesn't matter if they're hitting 150 or 550. They have those type of swings that cover everything. It's like you don't want to see David Eckstein in a bat like that. You don't want to see a guy like Escobar in a bat like that. That's why Greg Garcia does such a great job off the bench. He just gives you a good at bats. There's a lot of those guys in the league, and those are the guys I'm more worried about than throwing up your 3 and 4 hitter.
Thoughts and prayers to Greg Garcia and his family. His grandfather Dave Garcia passed away, so we're thinking about Greg tonight. Certainly the Garcia family. Strikeout for Luke Weaver.
Because no matter where you serve or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
2-1 our score. Along with Jim Edmonds, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Last night, how about at Dodger Stadium and how this game ends? Matt Kemp, safe there, but he motions going towards second base. We talk about that all the time. Make that motion right there.
That angle doesn't look so bad, the first angle. See another angle of it here, but yeah, you make an effort or any kind of attempt towards second base, and you have to get back right there. Got caught.
The heads-up play by the catcher to trail it, hustle.
You saw that replay, but what a great job by the umpire. See, the umpire never took his eyes off of Sean Kemp. I mean, Matt Kemp, Sean Kemp. Dunk.
He could really dunk.
Oh my gosh.
Seattle Supersonics, Sean Kemp.
Try not to dunk when you turn after 45.
Boy,
you'd be done. You'd be sitting up here with me with.
How is your knee doing?
Yeah, it's not going to dunk anymore.
I got you. The Rockies, by the way, are 4 games above 500. They lead Arizona by a half game. The Diamondbacks right now in a tailspin. The Dodgers are 7 games below 500.
Some weird starts to the season, by teams, by individuals.
Well, think about the NL Central here, with 4 of the 5 teams that are above 500, 4 teams within 2 games. The AL Central, no team is above 500. Cleveland is 22-23, a game in front of Minnesota.
That's why they play the game.
And they'll also tell you, just get in the dance.
You
Euro
never
6
know.
Club knows about that.
Yep.
Here's a 1-2 to Munoz, and a single into center field, 2 for 2.
Danny, you and I were talking before the game about this kid, and you said you really liked the way he swung the bat.
Absolutely. Watching him in spring training, one of the best springs of any Cardinal, and just a nice, easy, controlled swing there.
That's the swing, though. That's not trying to do too much and end up. That's the guys you don't want to face in those situations. 2 line drives tonight. Not trying to do anything special.
Here's Pena at a broken bat. Base hit to shallow center. Hit and run was on, and it's popped up. Foul territory. Moustakas with the catch. And it brings in Luke Weaver. Budweiser and the Cardinals proud to bring back the $4 ticket sale. Limited time, fans can purchase tickets. The Cardinals and the Marlins. That's June 5th through the 7th. Or the Padres series, June 11th through the 13th, for just $4. Budweiser $4 tickets at cardinals.com/4. The new Budweiser terrace down the right field line. Club knocked out 1,000 seats. I think you're going to see more and more stadiums go to that type of seating or terrace area to make it more of a social event for young fans to come to the game, stand, go grab a beer, whatever they want to do, but you know, it's a social event to come to the ballpark. 2 strikes on Weaver.
Isn't it a social event already?
Yes and no.
In between innings, for sure. If you go,
well, I would say this.
Around.
I mean, young fans, you want to get into the ballpark.
Yes.
I'm talking about, you know, 18 to 25, 18 to 30-year-old young men and women. It's a social event.
Exactly.
Here's the 0-2 pitch to Luke Weaver. A strikeout and a throw him out. And that is a double play. Salvador Perez now 5 for 8 in getting base runners. He's got an absolute cannon behind the plate, and he shows it off. Weaver could not get the bunt down, and Mike Matheny trying to be aggressive here in this inning. And the Cardinals will not challenge. And Munoz couldn't slip the hand in there. 2-1 after 4. Tonight, base hit to left, also grounded out to second. Carpenter in on the grass at third. John Jay hit .297 in the postseason run of 2011 for St. Louis. And hits a ground ball to the right side. Wong, tricky hop, may have gotten the lip of the grass, stayed with it. Nice play, ranging to his left.
You're right, Danny. When you go deep into that right field grass, you just never know how it's going to bounce. And I don't even think it hit the lip. I just think he's so in between right here. He's got a little bit on the heel of the glove, and that's why you put the other hand in there.
There's Ryan Goins. Originally drafted by the Blue Jays. Signed as a minor league free agent by Kansas City. 0 for 2. Check that 0 for 1. And the 0-1 pitch. Good changeup. Weaver has struck out 4 on the night, and the 0-2 pitch. He has struck out 5. Good fastball.
Good fastball and great placement. Basically just throws this ball right by Ryan Goins. Can't read my own writing. I'm starting to get like McCarver.
Here's Moustakas, who is 0 for 2. And he looks at a strike. Popped out in foul territory at third. Also fly to right. 19 of 22 first pitch strikes. Oh, 2 the count.
It's like Lucas turned it up a little bit right here. He's really letting that fastball go, and it's nice to see when a pitcher finds a rhythm, he can kind of get that next gear, but also hit location too.
Here's the 0-2, and back-to-back strikeouts in 6 tonight for Luke Weaver. We're midway through 5. Weaver with 6 strikeouts. The Royals with a 1-run lead. Yadier Molina's Foundation for Flavors of Puerto Rico, presented by Rums of Puerto Rico. Proceeds from the charity benefit victims of Hurricane Maria. The dinner gala will feature live salsa music, 5-course dinner. Get your tickets, YadierMolina4.com. And the top of the lineup for the Cardinals, Dexter Fowler, a 2-1 score. It's good to see him back in uniform, and Cardinals trying to caution him not to push it. Be ready for the long haul of the regular season when he comes back.
Speak of the devil. He's shaking his head. It's a little too close for comfort right there. The old days when you were in Little League, when you tucked that big chest protector between your legs, with the long
Oh yeah,
thing.
it did nothing.
Oh, you used to be a catcher too, right?
Yeah. Didn't work.
It's better than not having something down there.
1-2.
I feel like when you watch the Little League World Series, that's all you see is those guys in the old tucking it down and then putting the signals down.
The equipment is oversized.
Yep. way oversized.
Inside on Fowler, 2-2.
It's that one and the old umpire behind the plate with the big chest protector that all you could see behind him was his face.
Outside of the shirt, they would carry it, have something to hook onto their arms and hold it.
All you can see was the umpire's head. Be curious if they voted, how many guys would vote for that to come back?
The umpire is supposed to get in a slot, and that slot is between essentially the shoulder high, a little bit lower of the batter, and between the catcher. He's right in the slot there. There's a ground ball that's hit to the right side. And Fowler is hitless. He's 0 for 3, and it brings in Carpenter. Happy 54th wedding anniversary to Bill and Mary Walsh. They never miss a game and celebrating their wedding anniversary, watching some Cardinals baseball. I'm sure they're very proud of their son Kevin, longtime basketball coach at Vianney High School. 2-1 Royals with 1 out. Nobody on for Matt Carpenter, who is struck out and also fly to center. He's now 3 for 29 against Hamill. He's had his number. And while Hamill may have the best of Carpenter, the Royals have not. The on-base percentage near 500 to add to those lofty numbers for Matt Carpenter. He of the no batting gloves.
Not many of them around.
Nope. Hawk Harrelson says he's the first to use batting gloves. So he took a golf glove and used it in a game for batting in baseball.
That's what Rod Carew used to use. He used to order golf gloves from the company. And I don't even.
Not quite as thick, maybe.
He liked them because they were thin. But back in the day when Saranac was around, the old school club, the gloves, I can't remember the style of gloves that Rod used, but they were golf gloves. And they were red and they were super thin, really soft. He said he threw them away probably every other day.
Boy, as much as these guys swing a bat, hard to believe anybody could go without wearing batting gloves. But you build up the toughness of the skin, and you shake hands with Matt Carpenter. They're not soft hands, I can tell you that. Rough, tough, beat up. The 2-1. As cold of a April that we had, I can't imagine that aspect of it when it's so cold and not using batting gloves.
And it's a weird thing too, or at least it was for me, because there's a fine line between having not enough stick and too much, and you're always playing on that line of batting gloves. If you're using pine tar, sometimes the pine tar was cheap and cut and it wasn't very sticky, and then you had to put rosin and then spray, and then they had the little stick. And then I just can't imagine going out there with just a little bit of, looks like a little bit of tape or a little bit of stick, and you can see he's still not happy with that pitch before, which I don't blame him. But once you get that stick, you don't want to lose it.
See if he drives this one, the 3-2. He does, and lines it right into the glove of Merrifield. Absolute bullet.
It's the way he's been going too. That's one of the reasons why he's hitting only 210. Did a lot of those this year.
Yes, he has. You know, his line drive percentage is in the top 15 in baseball. Matt Carpenter. So what does it tell you? He's hitting into tough luck, into shifts.
A lot of deep fly balls early in the year when it was cold.
100 miles an hour off the bat of Carpenter, but into the glove of Whit Merrifield, and there's 2 down. There's Jose Martinez, 1 for 2, came in 9th in the league in hitting at .311. Lined out to right and a single to left. And has scored the only run for the Cardinals, which was ruled a stolen base of home. The double steal. Would have been in a rundown, seemed to be an easy out. Throw by Perez to Moustakas, couldn't catch it. Martinez would score. Yeah, looked like that one got him.
It's not a good spot either. That's nothing to protect. That rib cage area. Even a glance hurts. Ooh. It stings. That's a weird feeling. That it's a sting. It feels like your skin's burning.
And he says he's all right. It brings in Marcell Ozuna. He's got 2 hits.
And then got, not only did it get him, it got the catcher.
Ozuna, that flare into shallow right center, and then the base hit into center and a hard hit ball. Ozuna, little flare this time into right center. That drops, and he's 3 for 3.
Like I said, take him when you can get him, right?
You bet.
A lot of line drives that get caught. Is he staying inside the ball? He just got beat a little bit, but put the ball in play, and good things happen. And take those 3 hits versus that line drive by Carpenter anytime.
That's why baseball's a tough and funny game.
That's when you get those, you come back to the dugout and somebody says, way to swing it. And there's some little beeps that come out of your mouth to everyone. This is the last thing you want to hear when you hit a line drive for an out when you're struggling.
So Marcell Ozuna has seen 4 pitches. He has 3 hits. Here's Tyler O'Neill. He struck out with this similar spot back in the first. Runners at the corners. That was in the first inning, and then a base hit to right in the third. Oh, and 2. Takes a vicious cut. Notice his helmet has stayed on tonight.
Maybe he hurt us.
The 0-2. The strikeout of O'Neill. So he's 1 for 3, and Hamill out of trouble again. The Cardinals have stranded 7 through 5. What's on tap? Business Persons Special tomorrow. Last 6 starts, he's 3-0, and we'll come away with the pregame show tomorrow morning at 11:30.
want to give a huge shout out to Fielding Harrison, who's watching us at home. Never misses a game on TV, watching us, and probably sitting on the couch checking us out right now.
And checking that out too. A drive into deep left, and this ball is gone into the Cardinal bullpen. Salvador Perez with the home run, his 7th of the year.
I was telling you about standing down there and hearing different sounds. Did you hear the sound off that bat?
Barreled it.
The big, strong guy, and it was loud.
So Weaver has allowed a couple of solo home runs this ball game tonight. And a fly ball hit down the right field line and out of play. Brandon Crawford has hit a home run tonight for the Giants. And you're saying, okay. A lot of home runs will be hit tonight, right?
Fill me in.
He hit one off his brother-in-law, Garrett Cole.
That'll be good for a while.
Think of the chirping you could have at Thanksgiving dinner and Christmas dinner.
I was going to say it's probably been the other way for a long time, right. So he's probably finally got some ammo.
I got you that time.
This time. I'd like to watch the next at bat between those two.
It's only the 4th time all year that a Cardinals starter has allowed a pair of home runs in a game. The last time it happened was against Adam Wainwright on the 11th of April. That's a long time. And now the 1-2 pitch to Merrifield. Strikeout number 7 for Luke Weaver.
Just a nice overthrown fastball in a good location. He's got that mad ball. When he gets mad, he really, I'm telling you, he gets a zip on that ball, and it really jumps on the hitters.
I love the fact that Luke visited with Bob Gibson. We had the report earlier in the game about it, and we saw it on Saturday. There's a ground ball that's pulled foul. I'm curious, in your time and spring trainings, whether it be with the Angels or St. Louis and some of the greats come back, did you have to go to them? Did they come to you? Were they part of a group? How did it all unfold with some of the greats of the game? And trying to teach. There's a base hit to left by Gordon.
You know, and I've been in that situation in spring training. It's a fine line, right? You're scared to go talk to them. They kind of don't want to get in your way, but it works both ways, and they're around when things are happening and they explain stuff. And then I think you get a situation like that where you got Bob Gibson in the dugout, you got to go talk to him if you have any issues on the mound. And I think those are, there's some about having that ball in your hand and being able to control the game. You got to get all the knowledge you can out of that. You know, you can go to a lot of hitting coaches and a lot of hitters, and they can tell you and give you thought process, but it's still, you got to hit. You know, you got to execute. You got to have a good positive mindset every time you go up there. But man, to learn from a great pitcher like Bob Gibson, I was thinking about that today, and we were talking about stuff yesterday, and how big of a player he was that he literally changed the game.
Mound was at 15 inches, lowered to 10, 5 inches. He said, when I talked to him, and there's a shot of Gibson on the wall in left field, and you can see how he would deliver 3/4. He said guys that were over the top, like a Michael Wacha, could really affect him, as an example, if you lowered the mound. For him, it wasn't as much a big deal. He had a tremendous season the next year.
So randomly that he's the one that they say that created that. When you would ask him, he's such a humble man, that he was saying really not that big of a deal. But I just think that that's, I mean, could you imagine being the guy that makes basketball raise the rim?
Well, and it's a game that even at that time, 1968, had been around forever. Game built on the dimensions of what you see here, which is what we have today. But they said, no, we got to lower the mound, and he's kind of the face of it. It was the year of the pitcher in 1968. Denny McClain, 30+ wins at 31. And there were those that had tremendous seasons, but not 1.12.
Can't even imagine.
Here's a 2-1 pitch to Almonte. Ground ball left side. Carpenter to second. The turn, and out at first. It's a double play. And the Cardinals coming off the field. The Royals will now challenge. And they now have grounded into 52 double plays on the year. Carpenter. That's the shortstop Munoz because of the shift. City, and now it's Colton Wong. Cardinals about hit the Royals 8-7, but the Redbirds have stranded 7.
And they definitely had a chance to push a couple of runs across and just really haven't come up with a big hit yet.
Wong tonight is 0 for 2. Fly to right. Popped out to third. Ken Allgaiers, the head of sales at Fox Sports Midwest. Want to say congratulations to Ken and his family. His son, his first team All Big Ten pitcher at Iowa. Great accomplishment. And his son Nick Allgaier, first team All Big Ten. Congratulations, Ken, and congratulations, Nick, in the upcoming draft. Cal Eldred pitched at Iowa, lives there. Wong drops down a bunt. Hamill steps, throws, and just got him. Want to buy or sell tickets at the last minute? Get the StubHub app where you can grab 100% MLB verified tickets until the first pitch, or sell your extras to another fan. Get the StubHub app today. StubHub, official partner of the St. Louis Cardinals. Hamill did pitch into the 7th. Last time out against the Rays, but did not get an out. And there's a base hit again for Munoz. He's 3 for 3.
Ho hum.
Single to right, single to center, and now one to left.
Took the fastball up the middle, took the fastball to right, and pulled the slider. That's what you're supposed to do.
Brett Cecil throwing in the Cardinals' pen. And now it's Pena. Remember, similar situation the Cardinals had back in the 4th inning. They try to hit and run in this spot. Harrison Bader has moved to the on-deck circle. No activity for the Royals in their pen. And a breaking pitch drops in for strike 1.
Man, I talked about that hit and run. You're either a genius or it kills you.
Yeah.
With the hit and run.
But
if it works, it's amazing. And
you know what, though?
You're...
I think what Mike is saying is I don't have Yadier Molina. You know, the bottom of my lineup is missing my shortstop in Paul DeYoung.
Oh,
so,
for sure.
You know, I'm going to try to create some activity here.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, you just can't sit back just because your guys are on the DL or not playing well. But like I said, if it works, man, you look like a genius. And if it doesn't, it can kill you.
A ball and a strike on Pena. One and two. Homestand comes to a close tomorrow. Off day Thursday. Then a road trip through Pittsburgh and Milwaukee. Be the second time already through Pittsburgh this year.
Go through Milwaukee, like you said, what?
It'd be
next
the second
week,
time there
and then
too.
Go right back to Milwaukee in about less than a month.
Here's a 1-2 inside to Pena. 2-2.
Isn't it? You've been doing this for a long time. I played for a while. Isn't it weird when you look at the schedule and sometimes you're just like, man, that doesn't make sense.
Well, I miss the old schedule of going out to the West Coast a couple of times.
Twice.
Yeah. Dodgers coming here a couple of times.
That's been gone since the interleague, right?
1997.
Those are some serious trips, though, if you're playing in the West Coast.
Well, we are so fortunate we overlook it a lot. The travel for the Cardinals in the Central Division is so much better than, say, Seattle. Certainly the Dodgers. You played in San Diego and East Coast teams.
I don't remember when I was in Anaheim, and I'm talking couldn't have been even a half of a handful of times getting home before 2-3 in the morning ever. And that was pretty much before day games. I mean, you play on a Sunday, but then most of the times you're either, you know, Baltimore, Boston, New York. You're lucky if you were only in Minnesota or Kansas City. Crazy schedule. You just get used to it.
Outside of the fans, they are the most important part of this game. But the players, those on the field, you know, you want to make sure that they stay healthy. And I think baseball's done the right thing in trying to build in off days to keep guys as fresh as they can. It's still a grind for these players, there's no doubt. This will be the 7th pitch of this at bat. But they're paid handsomely, and it's part of the gig.
Yeah, it felt like every time you had a day game, you were going somewhere else, not ever coming home. You would come home on a Wednesday night and land at 6 a.m.
Want to start the runner here. There he goes on 3-2. Strike him out and throw him out. It's the second time it's happened. The double play in which Pena struck out and Munoz gunned down at second base. Salvador Perez has caught 2 stealing tonight. He's now 6 for 9. And a short hop, a backhanded pick, and Munoz out by maybe an inch or 2. Hamill's spot, the pitcher's spot, and then John Jay. And the outfield is straight away. Escobar 2 for 2. The first pitch popped up. Calling for it, Colton Wong calls off Martinez for the out. 1 pitch, 1 away. Weaver's spot is due up first for the Cardinals. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 7th. Hamill is 0 for 2. When you think about the starting pitching and the run that they are on, it's certainly giving the Cardinals every opportunity to win games.
I mean, you got a chance here. You're only down by 2, and got a guy on the mound with a 7 ERA, and you would like to see them get some runs and push some guys across and stay in this game.
Campbell puts it in play and just really hustling down the line, and they barely get him. Well, he was busted, it wasn't he? He's saying, get me back on the mound.
So off the end of the bat didn't really feel good on the fingers either.
Probably right. So 2 outs and nobody on, and here's John Jay. And like a veteran will do, pitcher makes that out. Next man up, takes his time getting in the batter's box. And Jay is 1 for 3. Mentioned that when the stakes were at the highest, John Jay seemed to come through, and he played in a bunch of postseason games for the Cardinals. Look at this. Most postseason games all time. Yachty, then Albert, Matt Holliday, my partner Jim Edmonds, and John Jay. You loved it, didn't you?
It's the best time ever. Ever. Exhausting, but fun. Talking about every single pitch counts.
Pressure.
Everyone was locked in, so if you did make a mistake, it was hit. Like, everyone was hyper focused.
The 2-2 pitch to John Jay. Some guys have the talent, they don't want the pressure. You would agree with that?
I witnessed it a few times.
I bet. 2-2. The changeup, it looks like. No, they're going to go inside now.
No, now back outside.
Jay stays alive. And a swing and a miss, and Luke Weaver may have just ended his night with strikeout number 8. Time to stretch here at Busch. Louis Cardinals. It's the Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. It's not only Tyler Neal who is pushing for playing time, but Harrison Bader in particular against left-handed pitching, and he'll pinch hit here. And the first pitch taken inside. Not many pitches through 6 for Hamill. Only at 81. Still looks sharp.
Yeah, this is when you want to get the guy out of the game and bring that bullpen in, even if they're throwing 96.
And Bader turns on the pitch out to left field. Gordon sliding, diving catch. Nice play. You do not see many false steps from Gordon. He gets great jumps.
I was going to say that was all about getting to the ball in a straight line and going into that corner. A lot of times you're not really sure exactly where you're at. You're getting really close to that dirt, but he went in a beeline straight at that ball.
Here's Dexter Fowler, 0 for 3 tonight. Fly to center, struck out and grounded out. So Luke Weaver out of the ball game with 7 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk, 88 pitches on the night. Gave up a couple of home runs. That's the difference in this game. You could, nitpick a little bit about pitching to the 8th place hitter in Escobar at that point in the game. Came up with a double into left. And it's 3-0 on Fowler. And Fowler again, a fly ball out to left. Swinging on 3-0 and a high fly ball to Alex Gordon. June 3rd, Christian Day at the ballpark, presented by Thrivent Financial. Pirates will be here. All fans invited to stick around after the game. Guest speaker will be Willie McGee. Cardinals.com/Christian Day. And now Carpenter with 2 outs. He struck out, fly to center, and also lined out to first. And a shift for Carpenter again.
He's thrown that pitch to Carp, I think, 3 times tonight to lead him off, and all 3 of them been off the plate.
The 0-1.
Talk about mind games, right? So how do you hit that pitch and know he's got 92 and he can throw it on the inner half when he wants to?
Sink it too.
Sink it a little bit, but you're more concerned with reaching out and covering a ball that you know is off the plate, and also being vulnerable to the fastball inside. That's where you lose your mind. All trying to figure out how you're going to do both.
Softly hit to first. Merrifield flips to Hamill, and he's through 7. Kansas City on top. It's 3-1 here in game 2. Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Wherever legendary MLB moments happen, Budweiser will be there. Try the new Cholula Buttery Jack, part of the Buttery Jack family, only at Jack in the Box. And by Ford, going further so you can. Look at Clark Street here in St. Louis. And a look at a kid that won't fall asleep early tonight. That's a lot of ice cream.
In the cup or on her face?
I was going to say majority of it was on her chin and her cheeks.
Just trying to buy a couple of peaceful minutes. There you go. Take some chocolate ice cream and go for a walk. Can't say I haven't been there.
Oh, yeah. Here's Ryan Goins against Brett Cecil. 8th inning, rolls in. Luke Weaver. Boy, he gave the Cardinals a chance to certainly stay in this game, potentially win it. Numbers on Cecil. Weaver's line, 7 innings, 7 hits, 8 strikeouts, and the 3 runs. 1-2. Boy, there are times you watch Brett Cecil and you think this guy's got good stuff. Could be really tough on a lefty too. Cardinals went to him a bunch a year ago.
I think last year, like he said, his breaking ball wasn't there. Early on, I think he just made a lot of mistakes with his fastball.
And a strikeout for Cecil to start the 8th.
Wasn't sharp right away, and then, you know, when you give up some runs early and your ERA is skyrockets, and then all of a sudden it's tough to get it back. But much better job so far this year. He said he's found his breaking ball, and only time will tell.
Moustakas 0 for 3. Popped foul to the third baseman. First time up. Fly to right and also struck out.
It's a big shot in the arm, though, when you can come into spring training and say, I found something for yourself, you know.
So the shift on here for Moustakas. And a pitch taken up and in. Two and 0. Cardinals will have Martinez, Ozuna, O'Neill. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 8th. The 2-0 pitch. A little bit high, 3-0. Right-hander getting loose for the Royals in their bullpen. And 4 pitches and a walk. The second walk the Royals have received tonight. The BJC Healthcare difference maker, Luke Weaver, the starter, came in with back-to-back very good starts, and it carries over to tonight. Gave up 2 solo home runs and a 2-out double late. But that was it. So the walk issued to Moustakas. Mike Myers coming on when we come back. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Our Chevy called to the pen, Mike Myers. The attendance tonight, 39,545, 39545. Salvador Perez home run back in the 6th inning. And time called and granted late. Some of the folks moan and groan.
On which side?
Good point. Fastball slider for Mike Myers. Minor leagues, worked as a starter. Now exclusively out of the pen. And he has made that trek back and forth along with John Brebbia time and again. Memphis to St. Louis. And there's ball one. You know, Myers really holding the ball, but you wouldn't think Moustakas is going anywhere. Normally when you see that type of delay in holding the ball, it's about the running game.
You're
and
really
rhythm.
trying to freeze the runner or get his legs to go dead a little bit from standing out there too long. In this situation, I don't see it.
1 ball, 1 strike.
It was an unusual length of time to hold the ball right there.
Two and one. And it's fouled back. Pretty good rip there by Perez. Royals, by the way, have hit into a double play. That was Almonte in the 6th, and they're 52nd on the year. Perez has grounded into 8 double plays this year. That's despite missing the first 20 games. Only 3 batters in baseball have hit into more, so certainly Cardinals and Myers thinking about that right here. Just missed. Full count. And now do the Royals want to start the runner? Not a speedy runner at first in Moustakas. A lot of that decision for a manager comes down whether or not he thinks he can strike out.
Yeah, I think the contact at home is obviously the most important part. You're not trying to steal the base. You definitely don't want to get picked off.
And the 3-2 to Perez, not running, and the pitch is lined into the glove of Carpenter for out number 2. That was a bullet. Wow. .105 off the bat.
I was going to say it looked like we slowed it down a little bit right there from that camera angle. Perez looked like he's pretty much locked in, right? Lined out to left, the homer, and then hit that ball in the nose too.
And a strike. And the 0-1 pitch to Whit Merrifield. 0-2. Injury or illness should never interrupt childhood. St. Louis Children's Hospital, guardians of childhood. Thank you, Dan. Nice job.
Thank you, Dan.
Mike Myers is throwing hard here tonight. We saw that in spring training as the ball gets away onto the playing surface, rolled back out. It's a thing with Myers being a bullpen guy now. He can just let it go. Just haven't seen a lot of them. 0-2 the count here on Whit Merrifield. Cardinals will have 3, 4, and 5 coming up in the home half of the 8th. The 0-2 pitch. Good pitch in on his hands. 97 on the gun.
Kind of missed his location just a little bit. You can see he was really trying to get him off the plate, get him to chase. And that's the thing, when you don't get to throw a lot, you got that extra energy, that extra juice, but then your location suffers. Fortunately, it was 97. See if they don't try to go back out there off the plate again.
And the 0-2 off the plate gets away from Pena. Now Moustakas in scoring position.
A tough play for Pena right here. It's basically spiked a slider, and you can see that ball just totally jump right after it hits the dirt. And there's just, you got to anticipate it so quickly and turn your shoulders. It's just, that's a tough play for a catcher. There's almost no way to deaden that ball unless you get around it.
In on his hands. Boy, that ball just exploded back into the hands of Merrifield. I thought it was going to hit him at first.
He's got some, he's amped up right now and spiked that slider, but then those fastballs are not going where he wants them to go, but yet you can see the velocity coming out of his hand and actually getting some serious run to it too. Talk about being pumped up. Watch this ball right here just take off at the last second. Actually just throws it in there.
Here's a 1-2 pitch by Myers. And again, time is called. He's really slowed things down. Marge Horton, big Cardinal fan, watching tonight in New York. Enjoying baseball, but probably not her company, named Rick.
Good pitch.
Ricky in New York, and want to say hello and get well wishes to his mom. And his mom's a star of our telecast. You don't know that. I think you might have still been playing, but she was on our telecast. Terrific. 2-2 is pulled foul. You played this game a long time, and that pitch was at 93. Myers is throwing 97 and 98. Does it shock you that guys can turn on all these fastballs and all these pitchers that throw so hard?
Yes, but the thing you noticed was how easy that swing was.
Yeah.
So the younger players and the mistakes that are made are trying to match the velocity with the hard swing instead of just a short quick swing and letting their velocity provide all the power. If you take a nice easy swing and hit it on the barrel, the ball's going to take off. You don't have enough time to react to swing hard and long and able to get the bat out in front of a fastball that's coming at 96, 97.
Ninth pitch of the at bat right here, the 3-2, and he walked up.
Pretty good at bat right there.
Sure was. And here's Alex Gordon, the Nissan drive of the game to center field. He's 3 for 3 tonight. You know, this is one of the issues that you run into if you carry just one lefty. You know, do you have a right-hander that you count on to say, hey, I've used Brett Cecil, I've used Sheriff, I've used Lyons. Is there a righty that can get out left-handed batters, especially in these kinds of spots? The Cardinals going to find out here with Myers. The fastball at 96.
And then that would be probably your Bowman. He's not here. Leon not around.
I think Leon.
Brebbia.
Yeah, Leon definitely would have been a guy that you think about with his slider.
Brebbia with the slider and the good fastball.
He got him. And Gordon pops it up on the infield. It'll be Munoz. He'll take it. And the Royals strand a pair.
Myers, the fastball
in just enough. Cardinals have to come back tonight. Part of their lineup coming up. Martinez, Ozuna, and O'Neill here in St. Louis. Tonight, 89 pitches. He's been lifted here in the 8th. 7 innings, 1 run on 9 hits. The Cardinals have stranded 7 in this game. Those are your Budweiser plays of the game. He gives way to Brad Keller. Chevy called to the pen, and this will be his 19th appearance this year. And the first pitch taken high by Martinez. Jose tonight, a single, the only run scored for the Cardinals. He lined out and was hit by a pitch. Here's a 1-0. Keller from Flowery Branch, Georgia. Acquired in a deal with Cincinnati back in this past December. The 2-0 pitch fouled back. What a rip there by Martinez. Prior to this season, Keller had never pitched in the big leagues. The Royals trying to pick up win number 15 on the year. They come into play 14-33. The 2-1. 2-2.
Let's see, Perez is really trying to get him to get the ball down. He's coming in throwing hard and can't get the ball down. Talk about getting yourself in trouble in a hurry. Getting the ball up in the zone, getting behind in the count. You only have a 2-run lead to play with.
And the 2-2. Martinez back to Keller. And the first out here in the home half of the 8th. Jim Edmonds loves this promo, and you should as well. It's the Chris Carpenter bobblehead, very calmly diving into first base in a fairly difficult situation in the World Series. Look at that reaction there on the bobblehead of Chris Carpenter.
That was a split second that he knew that the picture was coming.
And here's the real Chris Carpenter.
It's exactly the same. Look at, wait, look, smile. Okay, wait, when does he look at the camera? Yeah, pretty much the same.
One unreal competitor.
Yeah, he was.
Chris Carpenter. Good to see him back with the club more often now here in St. Louis. A little bit on the road. Ozuna grounds it left side. Escobar hops, throws, and out at first. What a play. Alcides Escobar. Goodness, what a play. That's a la Derek Jeter with that skip, hop, throw.
This is what I'm telling you about Escobar. I really like him. It's a nice play. Wow.
And he's out.
He's really out. It's not as close as I thought it was going to be.
Cardinals will challenge, and I guess the challenge would be about having possession of the baseball, which we've seen at times that can happen. But I mean, to me, he's out. Man, what a play. But if you're Mike Matheny, you're saying, look, take a chance.
To be honest with you, from up here, I thought he was safe at the beginning, you know, live. But man, slow motion doesn't even look close.
The Merrifield come off the bat. I think that would be the question. The right foot, is it on the bag?
Yep.
Oh boy.
They can't overturn that.
What a tremendous play by Alcides Escobar moments ago. StatCast, take a look at the arm strength, the distance of that throw. And on the other end, Merrifield to stay on the bag and the pick. There's Tyler O'Neill, single to right, and also has struck out twice. And quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. Big happy birthday to Judy. Go Humes. Never misses a game. Happy birthday, Go. Hope you're doing well. Judy Humes. Here's a 1-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss by O'Neill, who strikes out for the 3rd time tonight, and that sends us to the 9th. Greg Holland all too well as we flash back. One of the dominant closers in the American League. 309 games. The save percentage slightly over 90%. At 41 a year ago with Colorado, our Chevy called to the pen. 17th appearance. 12 1/3 innings, 14 walks.
That has definitely been a little bit of the problem.
There's Almonte at the plate. I wonder, Jimmy, and you pick up on a lot of little things in the game, and just watching that video when he was with Kansas City, it is a complicated delivery to the plate. A lot of moving parts. I just wonder if it's not all in sync right now, if that's one of the main issues he's got.
Well, I think it can be that for sure. But if I'm the hitting coach and I know the kind of stuff that he has, I'm having to tell my players to make sure he throws strikes. And that is what he's been struggling with. And so now you've taken your stuff, which is swing and miss stuff, strikeout stuff, to guys that aren't swinging. And his game is really not throwing the ball down the middle and letting you put it in play. It's more of getting ahead and making you swing at that nasty slider like you saw in the film. And when you can't get guys to bite, it makes it tough. You have to change your approach, and that sometimes is hard to do.
Here's a 2-1 pitch to Almonte. Big gap in right center. 2-2. Just looking at some of the video of his time in Kansas City. I mean, that stuff is filthy.
Saw that bite on that slider.
Yeah.
Down. Sometimes you can be too nasty. I mean, really. And you scare hitters, and they don't swing the bat. They're not aggressive. And then you get behind.
And Wong can't come up with that one, and a base hit into right. So Almonte is 1 for 4. Plaza Tire Fox Tracks. Holland is the 4th pitcher used by the Cardinals tonight. Weaver for 7. Cecil a third of an inning. Myers 2/3, and now Greg Holland. Almonte with 1 steal. And you also think about the potential of a bunt in this spot with a pinch hitter then coming up.
Escobar can run, can handle the bat a little bit. Like I said, he's a good player. I think he just needs someone to challenge and push him. He's just such a likable young man. I don't know, sometimes you got to pat him on the back, and sometimes you got to give him a shove.
Hunter Dozier is at the on-deck circle. Falling behind again. We talk about it all the time, the importance of a first pitch strike. Hitters become more selective. They lay off some of those pitches that you're talking about.
And that's definitely what's been hurting him right now, is, like I said, swing and miss stuff only works if you got guys swinging the bat.
And the runner goes, hit and run to perfection into right field. And runners at the corners with nobody out. With the way things have been going here for Greg Holland, you got to wonder if Mike Matheny immediately gets somebody up to throw. Can't let the inning get too far out.
They can't afford to give up any more runs at all, let alone wait for a couple.
So the infield is in. Inside to Hunter Dozier. John Brebbia has just started to play catch in the Cardinal pen. And again falls behind 2-0. Well, this has got to be so frustrating right now for Greg Holland. And the 2-0 pulled foul. First pitch strikes 37 of 68 batters this year. And that's just 54%.
That surprises me, actually. I thought it would be a little bit lower. I mean, if you've been watching these games too, a lot of the guys are coming up taking off of him. You've seen, like, sometimes it's erratic and sometimes he's just missing. But the fact that you've got the hitter on his heels, he can't really swing if he wanted to.
3-1 the count. Crowd starting to get a little bit restless here at Busch Stadium. Nine hits his side. 3-1 Kansas City here in the top of the ninth. And now the base is loaded. Back-to-back hits, the walk, the base is loaded. Mike Matheny is going to stick with Holland here to face John Jay.
Brebbia is not loose yet, so he can't go out there yet. I mean, he might be close, but he's not ready.
This is where John Jay becomes such a tough at bat. Puts the ball in play.
Right here for John Jay, either take or you're just trying to slap a ball into the outfield at some point. You're just trying to keep the ball off the ground. Turns into a pretty simple at bat.
And there's ball one. So he's not had a first pitch strike to the first four hitters. You hate to have a reliever looking over his shoulder all the time, but with Holland, you got to get somebody up right away.
And I was going to say that's the reason why maybe you wait a little bit with Brebbia, and then now he's not ready. But you don't want to have a guy throwing as soon as he runs in the game.
Base hit into center. One run is in, and here comes another. The throw to the plate is not in time. John Jay delivers to make it 5-1. And I would think that'd be it. Kansas City. And this will be our Chevy Cole to the pen. And still nobody out. So Holland came in. It was 3-1. And it was back-to-back singles. Almonte, Escobar, Dozier the walk as a pinch hitter. And Jay with the bases loaded to single into center field. And here's Ryan Goins. Carpenter in at third on the grass. And the outfield just about straight away. There's that slider. In for a strike. Here's a 1-1 pitch. And it's popped up. Carpenter with room and makes the catch. The batter will be Mike Moustakas.
I'm wondering if you're a pitcher like a closer that has to come in and go full bore, and you have certain mentality and you have certain stuff, and then it's not working for you for a little bit, and then if you try to let off a little bit, does that create even a bigger problem for you? You know, where you're trying to feel for certain pitches and you're not able to snap your slider or throw your fastball how you usually are overpowering. And like I said, as soon as the word gets around where you're struggling a little bit with your control, guys don't swing the bat and you have to make the adjustment. And I would think that sometimes that's got to be tough.
He's gone from being a dominant closer to right now trying to figure out how to get somebody out.
And the thing is, if you watch some of the highlights, it's the same stuff. Just getting ahead or just having guys be a little bit more aggressive. Now he's not pitching in one-run games. He's pitching down or up by a few, and the opposing team isn't as aggressive. It's just a totally different game when you get out of your element like that, trying to find it.
There's the 0-2 pitch. Carpenter over and makes the catch. So nice work so far by Brebbia to get the first two he's seen. And it brings in Salvador Perez.
Really nice work by Carpenter to make those two plays. Don't see that too often. That much running by the third baseman to catch a pop-up in and back.
So with 2 outs, there's 2 on. Salvador Perez, we mentioned he looks to be locked in. He's lined out to left and at third, and this time he pops it up.
Good pitch.
Pena throws the mask. Great work here by John Brebbia. 3 pop outs in foul territory. It's 5-1. Kansas City Royals. It's now a 5-1 lead for Kansas City, and Kelvin Herrera or Chevy called to the pen. The closer this year for Kansas City. And it'll be Wong, Munoz, and Pena for St. Louis. The rally caps are out here at Busch Stadium. Wong is 0 for 3 and now picks up a hit. A base hit into left. That's how we start the bottom of the ninth.
Good job right here by Wong. Just be ready to hit. Fastball right down the middle and take the 96 with the jam shot the other way. Stay on the ball. Put the ball up the middle. It's a good swing right there.
Jairo Munoz with 3 hits tonight, 3 for 3. And twice base hits on the first pitch that he saw. Typically down by 4. Old school baseball would be you take a strike, maybe 2, but not anymore.
Not anymore. Especially when the guy's throwing 99. I don't know if you caught that at the end there.
Slowly hit. Tough play here. Escobar not in time. How about Jairo Munoz? 4 for 4 tonight. Escobar made that close even. The Cardinals have something going.
Perfect placement. A little harder, he throws him out. A little softer, the pitcher gets it.
Jed Jerko at the on-deck circle. And now Pena, who broke his bat with a base hit, shallow center in the second inning, popped out to third and struck out in the 6th. And the first pitch is strike. The first 2 have reached. Wong base hit to left. Munoz an infield hit, 4 for 4. And the 0-1. 0-2. Was a little quick pitch that time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little quick. Tell you what, this guy's got some good stuff.
Sure does.
100-mile-an-hour fastball with a good slider. Good breaking ball right here. Tight.
Pena, double play ball. 4-6-3. Hit it on the button, but right at the second baseman. It's like ballet out there for his shortstop. That ball was hanging in the air, and Escobar kind of just dragging the toe.
Drag the toe, get out of the way, throw a strike to first.
It's a third double play the Cardinals have been into tonight.
And thank you so much for the slide rule.
Isn't that the truth?
Oh man, I think more so the second baseman, obviously, but
was hit sharply. They know who's running. It's Pena, and that flip, the little shovel pass to the shortstop, kind of hung up in the air. And I mean, you really could, in the back of the day, you know, really not that long ago, but take him out.
Back in the day.
Here's the 0-1. Inside to Jerko, way in.
And I remember playing not that long ago when you would get chewed out if you didn't break up a double play.
You bet. That's part of the game, man. Look at that.
Just a nice, easy slide. 4 years ago, he's throwing that ball while he's in the air. He's jumping and throwing like the Wizard used to do.
Or he's in left field.
Or he's got a broken ankle.
1-2 the count on Jed Jerko.
You know, it did surprise me though, even when this when this rule was made, that guys were getting hurt. They weren't getting out of the way. It wasn't the runner's fault. Guys weren't really going way out of the way to get him. It just, guys weren't jumping out of the way anymore.
And Jerko, no argument. He's tagged out. The ball game comes to a close. The Royals finish it off here in game 2 with a 5-1 win against St. Louis. Coming up, Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Rick Ankiel is standing by with the great Jim Hayes. 5-1 our final. Reminder, 11:30 pregame tomorrow.